Good morning. Here we are minus 2025. A new chapter, a clean slate, a fresh chance to make this year the one where everything changes. But before we charge forward, we need to do three simple things. You see, life has a way of throwing dirt on your fire. Maybe 2024 knocked you down. Maybe you were tired. Maybe you lost your rhythm, your drive, your direction. And that's okay. Because falling isn't failure, staying down. Reset your mindset. Let go of the weight you've been dragging. Let go of the noise, the doubts, the pain from last year. That version of you doesn't own you anymore. This is your reset button. Hit it hard. Resetting your mindset is one of the most powerful things you can do at the beginning of a new year, especially in 2025. This isn't just about making resolutions or saying you'll try harder. This is about completely reprogramming how you think about yourself, your goals, your failures, and your potential. Too often we drag the baggage of the past into our present. We let last year's missed opportunities, disappointments, or mistakes become anchors that slow us down before we even get moving. That stops now. Resetting your mindset means choosing to release what no longer serves you. It means looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm not who I was, I'm who I want. Decide to become starting today. When you reset, you create space to rebuild. You challenge those voices in your head that tell you you're not enough. You stop replaying that moment you failed or that thing someone said that made you question your worth. Resetting doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing not to be controlled by the past. It means learning the lessons but not carrying the weight. Because you cannot move forward with power if your hands are full of what's behind it now. This process is uncomfortable. Letting go of an old identity, even a painful one, can be terrifying. Why? Because it's familiar. And we're wired to find safety in the known. But the known isn't always what's best for us. Sometimes we have to shut down the whole system to reprogram it for something greater. That's what this moment is about. Not just hitting pause, hitting reset. Starting fresh. Wiping the slate clean so you can stop reacting to life and start creating it. And here's the thing, resetting your mindset isn't about pretending the pain didn't happen. It's not about being fake positive or ignoring the hard stuff. It's about facing it with a new lens. You look at the same situation but with a different perspective. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me? You start asking, what can I learn from this? You begin to understand that every challenge came to build you. Every delay had a purpose. Every setback was setting you up for something greater. Once you embrace that kind of mindset, you become unstoppable. Because you stop waiting for motivation to show up. You stop needing other people to validate your worth. You stop letting fear lead the way. You start leading yourself with clarity, with confidence, and with conviction. Resetting also requires stillness. It's hard to rewire your thoughts when your life is full of noise. Take time to be quiet. Reflect. Ask yourself, what do I believe about myself? Where did that belief come from? Is it helping me or holding me back? When you sit with yourself and answer honestly, you start to see where the work needs to happen. And when you start doing that work, real mindset work, you don't just change your year. You change your life. 2025 doesn't have to be a repeat of 2024. It doesn't have to be another year of almost and maybes and someday. It can be the year everything turns around. But it starts inside your mind. Reset that, rewire that. Because when your mind is sharp, your path gets clearer, your steps get bolder, and your purpose starts to light up. And from that place, there's nothing you can't build. Reset your mindset because you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from strength. Restarting with intention is where momentum is born. It's easy to say, I'll start again. It's harder to actually do it, especially when you've been knocked down, worn out, or stuck in a cycle that makes you question whether starting over is even worth it. But here's the truth. Every great comeback begins with a restart. And not just any restart, a deliberate, purposeful one. Restarting with intention means you stop moving through life on autopilot. You stop letting your days blur together while you wait for the perfect time. That perfect time. It doesn't exist. You create it the moment you decide to show up fully, honestly, and with grit. When we restart without intention, we often fall into the same loops that burned us out in the first place. We sprint, crash, repeat. But restarting with intention means slowing down just long enough to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What am I really chasing? Who am I becoming? Without that clarity, you're just running in circles. With it, even the smallest step forward becomes powerful. It doesn't matter how broken or behind you feel. What matters is that you're willing to begin again, this time with your eyes open and your heart in it. There's something raw and honest about starting over. You're forced to confront what went wrong, where you gave up, and what needs to change. That process is humbling, but it's also empowering. Because every time you choose to restart, you're refusing to let failure have the final word. You're saying, I might have lost the round, but I'm still in the fight. That kind of courage builds resilience. And resilience is the difference between people who wish and people who win. Restarting isn't about being the best. It's about doing your best with what you have right now. Maybe all you've got today is 10 minutes of focus or the strength to get out of bed, take care of yourself. That counts. You build momentum by honoring the small efforts. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And if you keep showing up with intention, those small efforts stack. They turn into habits. Habits turn into growth. And growth becomes transformation. It's also important to recognize that restarting doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it feels like failure, like you're admitting you messed up or that you're behind. But that's just ego talking. Restarting isn't failure, it's alignment. It's courage. It's a deep, quiet decision to not settle. It's choosing progress over pride, because it takes strength to admit when something's not working and even more strength to fix it. Restarting with intention also means learning from what came before. You don't ignore the past, you study it. What patterns held you back? What distractions cost you time? What beliefs limited your growth? You take those lessons with you, not as weight, but as tools. You use them to build something better, something stronger, something more aligned with who you want to be in 2025. And let's be clear, nobody else can restart your life for you. You can have support, accountability, encouragement, but at the end of the day, the decision to start again has to come from you. It has to come from that fire inside that says, I'm not done yet. So you take a breath, you tighten your laces, you silence the noise, and you step forward, not because it's easy, not because it's safe, but because you know that where you're going is worth everything it takes to get there. Restarting with intention is a radical act of self-respect. It's choosing to not stay stuck. It's choosing to give yourself another shot. And that choice can change everything. Refocusing your energy is one of the most crucial steps you can take when you're rebuilding yourself. We live in a world that's constantly demanding our attention, notifications, opinions, responsibilities, and distractions coming at us from every direction. It's no wonder so many people feel scattered, overwhelmed, and stuck. When your energy is being pulled in 1,000 directions, it's impossible to make meaningful progress. That's why refocusing is essential. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with clarity, with discipline, and with heart. When you decide to refocus, you're making a powerful statement. I will no longer waste my energy on things that don't serve my purpose. That includes toxic relationships, endless scrolling, comparing yourself to people who don't even know your story, chasing validation, and saying yes to everything out of guilt. Every single one of those habits drains your mental and emotional power. You have a limited supply of energy each day, and if you spend it on things that don't move you forward, don't be surprised when you feel stuck, tired, or unfulfilled. Refocusing starts with identifying what truly matters to you, not what looks good on social media, not what your friends are doing, not what someone else expects of you. What do you want? What are you building? What are you trying to heal, to grow, to become? These are surface level questions. They demand honesty, real honesty. The kind where you might have to admit that you've been chasing goals that aren't even yours, or that you've been too afraid and made you too afraid. Name your real dreams out loud. That's okay. This is where the shift begins. Once you're clear on what matters, everything else becomes easier to filter out. Not easy to do, but easier to see. You begin to recognize what's noise and what's necessary. You start choosing peace over chaos, depth over distraction, meaning over movement. and you do it over and over again, even when it's inconvenient. Especially when it's inconvenient. Because that's what discipline looks like. It's not about perfection, it's about priorities. Here's the truth, your energy is your most valuable currency. Where you put it determines what you build. If you keep spending it on doubt, fear, or anything that drains you, you're going to stay stuck in the same place, repeating the same cycles. But if you start investing it into your growth, your vision, your healing, everything changes. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. It starts with small decisions made consistently. It starts with waking up and asking, what do I need to focus on today to become who I want to be tomorrow? Refocusing also means being honest about the people around you who adds fuel to your fire and who's just adding weight to your shoulders, who challenges you to grow and who keeps you playing small. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need boundaries. Protect your space. Guard your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. It's not enough to be busy. Anyone can fill their calendar with tasks and still feel empty. Productivity without purpose is just exhaustion in disguise. You want your effort to mean something. You want your focus to lead somewhere. So eliminate the distractions. Let go of the noise. Say no when you need to. And stop apologizing for choosing your path. In 25, the difference between those who make progress and those who stay in the same place won't be talent. It won't be luck. It'll be focus. The kind of focus that cuts through the chaos and stays locked on the vision even when life gets loud. You've got what it takes. You just have to stop letting your energy get hijacked by things that don't matter. Refocus, get clear, and then go all in. Discipline over motivation is the mindset shift that separates people who talk about their goals from those who actually achieve them. Motivation is great when it's there. It gives you that rush of excitement, the fire in your belly, the voice in your head saying, let's go. But the truth is, motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you feel it. Most days you don't. And if your entire life is built on whether or not you feel motivated, you're going to be waiting around more than you're moving within that end. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. It's the part of you that shows up anyway. It's the voice that says, we're doing this even when you're tired, unmotivated, frustrated, or unsure. Discipline is doing what needs to be done regardless of your mood. And that's where real progress is made. Not in the highs of inspiration, but in the quiet, boring, uncomfortable middle when nobody's watching and there's no hype, and you still choose to show up. We've been conditioned to chase feelings, to wait for the perfect moment, the ideal mindset, the right conditions. But the people who change their lives aren't waiting, they're working. They've built systems, routines, and standards that don't rely on how they feel. They understand that motivation might start the engine, but discipline is what keeps the car moving. Without it, even the strongest desire burns out. This isn't about being a robot or ignoring rest. It's about training yourself to be consistent even when conditions aren't perfect. Because let's be real, conditions are rarely perfect. Life throws curveballs. You'll be tired. You'll be stressed. There will be days when you feel like you're going backward. And that's exactly when discipline matters most. It's what keeps you grounded when everything else feels chaotic. You build discipline one choice at a time. It's not some magical force that shows up overnight. It's created in the small daily decisions, choosing to get up early, choosing to do the workout, choosing to eat the meal that fuels you instead of numbing yourself with junk, choosing to stay focused for another hour when you want to scroll your phone. Each of those choices is a rep. The more you do it, the stronger your discipline gets. And here's the best part, discipline builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even a small one, you prove that you can be trusted. You stop second guessing. You stop relying on hype. You build an identity that says, I do the work, period. That's powerful. Because when your identity shifts, your actions follow. You don't need to fight with yourself every morning. You already know who you are and what you do. Motivation will always have a role. It's the spark. It's the excitement. But it's not the foundation. The foundation is discipline, the routine, the structure, the decision to move forward whether it feels good or not. It's the 5 a.m. alarm when nobody's cheering. It's the late night grind when nobody's watching. It's the countless boring, unsexy hours that nobody sees but that build everything people eventually admire. So if you're serious about making 2025 different, stop chasing motivation and start developing discipline. Build a structure that supports your goals. Keep showing up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because that's where greatness lies, in the repetition, the discomfort, the refusal to quit. And when you stack enough of those moments together, you'll look back and realize that it wasn't motivation that got you here, it was you. Relentless, disciplined, unstoppable. Embracing discomfort is one of the most difficult yet transformative decisions you can make. Human nature is wired to avoid pain, to seek comfort, to run toward ease and away from anything that feels hard, scary, or uncertain. But the life you want, the growth, the strength, the fulfillment, the breakthroughs, it's all hiding behind the things you're afraid to face. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's the place where you meet your limits and then push past them. Most people never get to where they want to be because the moment things get uncomfortable, they back off. The moment it starts to hurt, they slow down. The moment the path gets uncertain, they retreat to what's safe and familiar. But here's the truth. Nothing extraordinary happens in your comfort zone. Comfort doesn't build muscle. It doesn't develop discipline. It doesn't force you to level up mentally or emotionally. All of that happens when you choose to lean into the discomfort instead of running from it. Discomfort reveals who you really are. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when things aren't going your way, that's when your character shows. It's easy to be committed when everything is smooth. It's easy to stay focused when you're winning. But the real test comes when nothing is working and you still have to decide, am I going to keep showing up or am I going to quit? If you can learn to endure that tension, to breathe through that pain, to stand tall in the storm, then you've tapped into something most people never will. You don't need to go looking for pain, but you do need to stop running from it. Instead of seeing discomfort as a sign to stop, start seeing it as a signal that you're growing. If your goals don't scare you a little, if your routine isn't challenging you, if you're not being stretched, then you're playing too small. Growth is not supposed to feel cozy. It's supposed to feel like you're being pulled in a direction that requires more of you than you've given before. That's the point. The gym doesn't get easier, you just get stronger. Life doesn't get lighter, you get tougher. And discomfort is the process that forges that toughness. Every time you do something hard, you expand your threshold. You prove to yourself that you can handle more, that you can keep going, that you won't break. And the more you lean into those moments, the more you grow. Confidence doesn't come from everything being easy. It comes from knowing you've been through hell and came out stronger. This mindset applies to everything: fitness, business, relationships, healing, personal growth. That awkward conversation you've been avoiding, that's discomfort. That workout you keep skipping, discomfort. That decision you need to make that scares you, same thing. You don't become fearless by avoiding fear. You become fearless by walking through it and realizing it didn't own you. Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity, an invitation to become more of who you were meant to be. When you embrace discomfort, you stop waiting for the path to be smooth. You start focusing on your ability to keep moving no matter what. That's where the power is. Because once you're no longer afraid of the hard stuff, the world gets a lot less intimidating. You don't fear failure, you face it. You don't avoid challenge, you welcome it. And from that place, you become unstoppable. You stop chasing comfort and start chasing greatness. So in 2025, let discomfort be your training ground. Don't run from it, rise through it. Step into the struggle, because that's where you grow. That's where you level up. And that's where you find out just how powerful you really are. Owning your comeback is about taking full responsibility for your life, no matter what's happened in the past. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is where I turn it around. Not waiting for someone else to save you, not blaming your circumstances, not using your past as a reason to stay stuck, but standing tall in the middle of the storm and declaring that you are not done, that you're still here, that the fight in you is greater than anything trying to break you, because no matter how far you've fallen, how lost you've felt, or how long you've been off track, your story isn't over. You can still write a new chapter, and that's what a comeback is all about. We all face moments that knock us down. Life doesn't care how strong you are or how good your intentions were. It will hit you with losses, heartbreaks, failures, and setbacks you didn't see coming. You might go through seasons where everything feels heavy, where it seems like no one understands, and where getting out of bed feels like the hardest thing in the world. But what defines you isn't the fall. It's what you do next. Will you stay down or will you rise? Owning your comeback means taking your power back. It means refusing to be defined by the worst thing that's happened to you. It's understanding that while you may not have caused the pain, it's still your responsibility to heal from it. It's your responsibility to take what's broken and use it to build something stronger. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. You get up, you dust yourself off, and you start moving one step at a time. A comeback doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just you alone doing the work nobody sees. Showing up for yourself when no one's clapping, saying no to old habits, setting boundaries, pushing through the fear, choosing growth over comfort. That's what a comeback looks like in real life. It's not about proving anything to anyone else. It's about proving to yourself that you are capable, worthy, and built for more. And don't think for a second that a comeback means you have to be perfect. Far from it. It means you keep going despite the mess, despite the self-doubt, despite the days when you feel like nothing is changing. It means trusting that each small step forward is getting you closer. You might stumble, you might cry, but you don't quit. Because every time you get back up, you reclaim a piece of your power. There's something incredibly powerful about realizing you don't need anyone's permission to rise. You don't need the world to believe in you. You don't even need to have it all figured out. All you need is the decision to stop letting the past control your future, to stop playing small, to stop settling for survival when you were built to thrive. In 2025, your comeback can begin today, not in some distant future when everything's perfect. Right now, this moment, with what you have, with who you are. Your story isn't defined by your lowest points. It's defined by your resilience, your courage, and your refusal to stay down. So take the hit, take the lesson, and then take the next step. Your comeback isn't just about you. It's about who you become in the process. It's about becoming someone you're proud of, someone who didn't let the darkness win. Someone who chose to rise, to grow, and to lead themselves forward. You owe that to yourself. Own your comeback. Let 2025 be the year you take the wheel and drive your life in a direction that sets your soul on fire